Hello. What's up, Chuck? Oh, up she goes. You're very fat. Hello. We've got the chunky girl. We've got the chunky girl. Okay, put you down because you don't like this. Hello. Welcome back to the Aesthetic Knits podcast. My name is Shaylyn. I live in Southern Ontario in Canada. It is January, it's a new year. It has been a while since I did this whole thing. Life just got a little crazy. I was working 3 jobs for a period of time, and you know, I only really got like 1 day off a week and just didn't want to do a whole lot while I had that time. But yeah, so since it's been so long, I thought instead of trying to catch up on everything, because it'll be a really long episode, I thought I would just go through all the things that I made in 2022. Now that it's 2023, I can't believe it. It's crazy. But yeah, so I will probably be trying things on, hence the change of location. Yeah, as you can see, our lovely rented door, so there's about 1,200 coats of paint on it. But yeah, so I will be putting on my sweaters, telling you a little bit about it. I'm probably just going to be going through sweaters or tops. I have a couple pairs of socks, and I think I have a hat. I didn't knit a lot of socks this year, but a lot of them are dirty and in the wash, and I don't really want to show those right now because they look a little bit grimy. And I did knit a few baby knits for people. My best friend had a baby this year. She's 4 months old already, which is crazy. So she has some of that stuff, so I can't really show it. But yeah, all right, I'll pop out, try on the first sweater, and we'll get going. All right, so this is the first sweater we have. I don't know if I'm going to be going in chronological order because I honestly can't really remember the chronological order. But I think this one was the first thing I finished because I think I started it in 2021 and finished it in 2022. But this is the Friday Tee by Petite Knit, and then I just extended the sleeves to make them long sleeved. Yeah, this yarn is WeAreKnitters Finita yarn held with the Touch Me Mohair in the natural color and then in the black color. I don't really support their yarn anymore because of ethical reasons, but I'm gonna wear the sweater that I put a lot of time into. So yeah, so I extended the arms. I think I did do a few decreases, but not a ton, so it is kind of more of a, it's not really a bowing shape or anything, or it's just kind of a little bit straight but a little bit tapered. I wear this sweater all the time. I think just because it's such a good piece, just you could wear it with anything. It's not super warm even with the mohair. I think it's because it's quite oversized, as you can kind of see. It has the raglan shaping, and then it has the double folded, excuse me, it has the double folded collar. I think I did knit it a little bit shorter, so I'm gonna have to do a jump. So you can see I like to French tuck my shirts, so this is a really great length for that. I don't know if I blocked this. I kind of was scared because it's done in the broken rib, and I hear the broken rib grows a lot, and it's already pretty oversized. Like, there's a good amount of space. I guess I could have measured my sweaters to tell you the amount of positivities, but hey, this was kind of off the cuff, so. But yeah, so I don't think I have anything. I think I did go up in needle size for the body just to accommodate for the mohair, because it was just knit, supposed to be knit in fingering weight. So it's fingering weight plus a mohair. I believe the mohair also has a wool content to it. But yeah, so Friday Tee by Petite Knit. Alright, I'm gonna take a sip of my tea while I still remember and while it's still hot. That's perfect. Probably be cold by the time I'm done this, but you know. Okay, I jigged the camera a little bit to get more view, but I think it's just gonna be kind of difficult. But this is my next one. This is the Sunday Tee. I think it's tee or top, I can't really remember. Also by Petite Knit. this is gonna be a petite knit year. I've made it my goal next year to knit less of her patterns. Not that they're not good, they're pretty good, I would say, having knit quite a few of them, but I want to try to knit some other patterns. But yeah, this is the Sunday Tee by Petite Knit, and this is knit in the Knitting for Olive cotton merino in the color Rust, and it is a top-down circular yoke, and it has these kind of radiating, almost like sunburst rib, and then it goes into stockinette. It's a bit wrinkly, but you know, I wear this a lot. Probably my most worn piece of the year. It's so comfortable. It has a large content of cotton in it. I think it's about 70% cotton, 30% wool. So it's really great for the summer. I really like how the folded hem sleeves turned out. I think they look really, really professional. It's the same on the bottom. I didn't go down a needle size for that. I kind of wish I did, because it does kind of flare out a little bit. Not that it really matters, because I don't really wear it untucked, so that's fine. But again, I wear this all the time. I was just in Florida, and this was probably my most worn piece, even though it wasn't particularly warm while I was there. But yeah, I think I followed this exactly to pattern from what I can remember. It also has the double folded collar. I think it's just in stockinette, and it's very thin. I just think that just looks so professional. There's no short row shaping in the back. I don't know how complex that would be to try and do that. It's one of Petite Knit's earlier patterns, so maybe that's why. So it's, you know, the same all around, so it's a bit lower in the back, but I don't really mind. I may knit another one of these sometime in the future, not next year, probably not the following year, but I might try and add some short row shaping to it. But yeah, the Sunday Tee by Petite Knit. Okay, next up we have the Breeza Tee. I think that's how it's pronounced, Breeze or Breeza Tee, and this is by Pia Trans, or I think she's 50 Fabulous Knits on Instagram. I'll link it down below if I got that wrong, which I probably did. But yeah, so I knit this in Kenyarn Woolens Mojave in the color Natural. This pattern is just so stunning. I really love the circular yoke with the detail on the top, and then, you know, lots of stockinette on the bottom. I think that's just such a nice look. I bought this yarn at the knitting store that I work at, Needles in the Hay in Peterborough, Ontario. This is a cotton linen blend. I can't remember the exact amount, like percentage, but it's super comfortable. It's quite soft, which is really nice. I find well, linen, you know, it starts out rather scratchy, but then it softens up. But I find with cotton, you know, it stiffens up more the more you wear it. I haven't tried putting this in the dryer, but I'm thinking about doing it and seeing how it wears, or maybe knitting up a swatch and doing that, because it's always nice when you can throw things in the dryer. It makes life a little bit easier. But yeah, I think I knit this. I don't think I've talked about sizes that I knit things. Whoops. Well, I'm pretty sure I knit this one in the large, because I think I was kind of in the middle for sizes, and it made me a little nervous, because I do like quite a lot of positive ease in my clothes, or at least in my tops. And so I went with a large, did all the patterning, which is like cables and eyelets, and then there's some little baubles here as well. There's also some like slip stitches up here too. Super cool. I really think that the pattern is so effective. I think I heard about it through We Grow Wild, Martina, who's just such a sweetheart. Yeah, I think I did this part, and then there were some more increases to be done, and there were like 2 more rows of it, and it just looked like it was gonna be massive. I didn't do gauge swatch either. I'm not very good at gauge swatching. That's another goal of the year, is to do more of that. But so I skipped those 2 extra increase rows, and the fitting is really good. So I guess technically this is like between a medium and large based on the stitch count. But yeah, I think it turned out so nice. I do kind of wish with the sleeves, I cast off a little bit. I have the burps. I'm so sorry. I cast off kind of loosely, which it doesn't look too bad right now, but I find sometimes the ribbing kind of flares out, which I think is not the cutest look. So I might just go back and bind off a little bit tighter. It's the same with the bottom as well, which I don't really find to be a problem because again, I usually tuck in my shirts anyway, so no one really sees the bottom anyway. But yeah, this is the Breeza tee by Pia Trans. Oh, also I think, I didn't know before, but it's not super size inclusive, so, which is rather disappointing. I'm trying to do more size inclusive patterns next year as well. I think I did pretty well this year. There are just a couple that slipped through, but we're gonna be better next year. Yeah. Okay, so next up I have a pair of socks to show you that are clean, I promise. I guess I can separate them and just show you one. They're not like super well blocked. I don't really block my socks too much. I kind of just wear them and I find that works out fine. But this is the Shell Cottage socks by Helen Stewart, and the yarn is Kenyarn Cirrus fingering base in the color The Magician. And I remember I was following him on Instagram and he put out this collection, and I just thought this is just the perfect rainbow speckle, I think. I had bought the WeAreKnitters Pima cotton. They have like a rainbow speckle color and it just wasn't speckly enough. But this is the perfect amount of rainbow speckle. And the pattern is, they look kind of like cables, but they're faux cables with yarn overs in them as well, ribbed, and then it goes down onto the toe. And I really love these socks. They're super wash, so they're not the warmest sock, but I find they're really good for like spring and summer. Maybe not summer, it's getting a little bit, it gets very humid in southern Ontario. But this yarn it was like a kind of a toothier yarn when I was working with it, and I really liked it, but they have softened up so much. They're so soft. I won't rub these against my face because they do go on my feet most of the time. But yeah, I think I have another, there's cat hair all up in this. But yeah, I have another skein of the Kenyarn Cirrus base in the color like Hierophant, which I believe is like a cream color that has like brown and gray flecks in it. It's really pretty. I have yet to do anything with it, but I'm quite excited to work with it based on how nice this is. And it's this yarn has the yarn has held up very well, because I do, with my superwash socks, I do just put them in the washing machine and then I just hang them to dry, and there's not really a ton of pilling on them. And I've worn the absolute crap out of these socks. So yeah, I don't think there's anything else I need to say about that. I did buy, this sock comes in, you can buy it in like a set of, I think there's about 6 socks patterns, and they're all so stunning. So I will probably be making my way through those eventually. Oh yes, and these are cuff down, heel flap, and gusset, as you can probably tell. But yeah, so those are the Shell Cottage socks by Helen Stewart. Okay, I'm gonna take another sip of my tea. Very good, very good. It's cooling off pretty quickly, but that's because I have it sitting at right next to the window, so that's probably why. But all right, so this is the next piece. This is the Zosha wrap cardigan by Alexandra of Vare and Rose. This was a test knit that I did. This was the second test knit I'd ever done. This year was the first time I ever did test knits, so that was quite fun. So yes, so this is a wrap cardigan, and the yarn is the Fiber Co's Zero in the color Ghost Dunes. I also bought this at the yarn store that I work at, Needles and Hay. I'll probably mention that a bunch because I bought so much yarn this year because of that. Unbelievable. I started working there in April or May, and my yarn buying just went off the charts. Well, I got a discount, so it's it's cheap. I was gonna buy yarn anyway. I was just gonna get a discount, but I won't go into my reasonings. But yeah, so wrap cardigan by Alex, Fair and Rose. I really like this pattern, but I have some issues with the fit, which is quite disappointing. I think the problem really comes down to I picked the wrong size, and that is my fault. That is not the designer's fault at all. Alex was such a sweetheart during the whole process. That was a really fun test knit because the first one I did was very much like we had a Ravelry page for it, but it wasn't really as active. But this one, we had an Instagram group chat. It was very active all the time, and it was just a really fun group of people. There were some knitting celebrities in there too, like Casey of the Young Folk Knits, which is probably one of my favorite podcasts these days. Kimchi and Co. as well. The Crayabea was as well. She's also like, I'm obsessed with that podcast as well. But yeah, so I think I picked the wrong size because I'll step up here, but like you can see the waistband is just like, it's just too big. No matter how, because I have it tied pretty tightly around me, and it just is too tight or too loose, which is rather annoying. Another issue I have with it, which I think I might go in and fix, is that I made the tie way too long, like way too long. So again, you can see this bow, and like there's a lot of excess, and the bow itself is massive. So I'm thinking about doing some sweater surgery on this and cutting it and then binding it off, because the thing, like I can't really detach it to fix it and just rip it back, because you knit quite a lot of it and then you like knit and pick up stitches along here, so it's like fully knitted into the top portion. So I think I'm kind of nervous about that. I've never really cut my knitting before, but I think this is the year that I'm gonna do that because I'll just wear it so much more. But yeah, because the big bow really like weighs everything down, which is quite annoying. But the sleeves are really pretty because they're like a balloon sleeve, and then there's like really rapid decreases into the cuff. And it's just such a beautiful design, and this color I am obsessed with. I love a light blue. I was looking at my sweaters the other day, and pretty much all of them are like neutral shades, a little bit of green or light blue. I was like, wow, I really have a color palette. But yeah, it was really fun being a part of this test knit, and I'm kind of disappointed that I don't like, yeah, I would probably wear this a lot because it's beautiful. There's like a beautiful lace pattern to it. It's definitely more of like a spring sort of garment because it is so lacy, and the yarn is again Cirro by the Fiber Co, and it has like a cotton core, so it looks kind of like mohair, so it has like a cotton core, and then it has merino and alpaca fluff, so it's very fluffy and very soft. Oh, I have to sneeze. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. Yeah, so I don't think I have anything else to say about this other than it has a few things that needs to be fixed. I did order some more yarn to make a second one of these. I ordered some Zakami yarn. Their natural sock fluff is pretty much the same as the Cirro base. I got the color though, I bought it in the color Boomy, which I got based on Inga of Knitting Traditions. She's made me buy so much yarn, it's so stupid. But she knit the Sarah sweater in the same color, the Boomy color, and hers looked a lot more green. And in the skein, I don't know, I don't know if, maybe once I knit it up I'll like it a lot more, but it's very like, I don't know, murky looking. I don't know. I thought it was gonna be more of like a, you know, kind of like those like Juicy Pear Jelly Bellies, you know, they're my favorite. So but it's a lot more, I don't know, murky color. But anyhow, that's besides the point. So yeah, so this is the wrap cardigan by Fair and Rose. Oh, my nose is running. Might have to take my glasses off because it's getting kind of hard to take things off and put them back on, but so I won't be able to see what I'm doing very well. All right, I took a nose blowing break. You might be able to tell because my nose is probably all red. Took the glasses off because it was just not happening. But yeah, so this is the next sweater. So this is the Esther sweater by Camilla Vaude. The yarn is Knit Picks Palette. Let's see if I can remember all the colors. So I think the base color is almond. Then the brown color is bark. And then there's like another like light beige color here that's wheat heather. And then the green is verdant heather. I think that was it. I'm impressed that I can remember that. But yeah, so the pattern, not very size inclusive. Again, I'm trying to work better on that. That wasn't really a thing that I noticed until this year. But yeah, I love this sweater so much. I think it turned out so well. I hadn't done a lot of color work before because I found I had a lot of issues with my tension and it would just look very bubbly. So for this pattern, I decided to give it a go where you knit with one hand continental and one hand English. And dude, it changed the game for me. My color work has never been so even. I think it just turned out so well. And then I took some of the pattern from here and I added it to the sleeves as well. Which I think turned out pretty cute. I believe this pattern is like just a t-shirt, if I can remember. So I extended the sleeves. I didn't do any decreases at all. I just did a straight sleeve. And I'm really glad I added this color because I think it just balances it out a little bit more. I think I ordered this yarn and it said it was a sport weight and I got it and it was very much fingering weight. So I did a test swatch. It was very off. Couldn't really, went up a little bit, but it was just going to be a very gapey fabric. So I decided to just work with it. So I think I knit the large size, but even so, it's quite a lot tighter than I had expected. It's actually not too bad now that I've like washed and blocked it. It has a lot more positive ease. It's a little bit tighter around the chest area, but I don't mind that. The neckline is also like, I think the neckline in the sweater was supposed to be like much more open, but I like a close neckline, so I don't mind that. There is short row shaping in the back, as you can see, and yeah, I think I knit it shorter than is recommended, which I pretty much always do because I like kind of more cropped. And yeah, I wear this all the time. I think it's so cute, especially in winter. I think it's just so cute. I think it does have an element of being handmade. I think that might have something to do with the yarn. Yeah, I don't know about this yarn. It's pilled quite a lot. You can't really tell because I got myself a pill shaver. God bless that thing. I am obsessed. I will just go through and take all the pills. I'm really weird about pills. I don't like how pills look. I just think it makes it look very schlubby. So I'll like spot, if I see like one pill, I'll like pull it out and I'll get at it. But yeah, I don't know. I was watching High Fiber Knits podcast and she said she really liked this yarn. She did hold it double. That may have made it nicer because then it was like 4 plies, because this is I believe this is a 2-ply yarn, so maybe that made it work a little bit better. She also picked like such a beautiful color. Knit Picks Palette yarns like is unparalleled with their color selection. There's probably like 100 different colors to choose from. It's quite incredible and it's incredibly reasonably priced as well, which is kind of why I went for it. I didn't want to spend a lot of money on, especially if I was going to do color work for the first time majorly and if I didn't like it. But again, I wear it all the time. It's quite comfortable against the skin. I don't find it itchy at all. I believe it's Peruvian Highland wool. But yeah, I just think I probably won't use it for like a full sweater ever again unless I'm gonna hold it double, which I don't know if that's gonna happen. But yeah, so this is the Esther sweater by Camilla Vaude. What's up, baby? What's up? Oh, come here. Let's come visit. We have cat number 2 who is very grumpy. You very grumpy? This is my cat. This is Minnie. And she's a little jerk. She's not yelling. You're not yelling. Okay, I think my hair is getting a little bit wild, but we'll go with it. So next up we have another petite knit pattern, because why not? This is the Friday Slipover. So many of her patterns are named after days of the week that they kind of mix me up sometimes, but I believe, yeah, this is the slipover version of the sweater that I knit earlier. I guess I wasn't done with fingering weight yarn on, stop knocking my door. Okay, I guess not. Sorry, yeah, so this is the Friday slipover. So I guess I wasn't done with broken rib on small needles because I knit a whole slipover in it right after I did the Friday sweater. So this is Camilla Vad's yarn. I can't remember if it has a different name, but it's a sport weight in the color Fig. And then I held it with Knitting for Olives soft silk mohair in the color, I think it's Brown Bear. I get kind of mixed up with some of the like darker tones, but my brother bought me the mohair for Christmas last year very generously. We went to Maison Tricoté in Montreal and he said I could get whatever I wanted, and I said no because I will bankrupt you. But yes, I did walk out with the mohair, and yeah, so again, this is broken rib. So you do cast on for the back, knit to the underarms, and then pick up on the sides, connect in the center, knit together, and then connect it to knit in the round. And it also has the double folded collar. This collar hasn't really wore very well. Like, I think I just picked up too many stitches for it. I think I picked up the recommended ones, but who really knows. But yeah, because it's a little bit gapey. But I did just buy some knitting elastic, and I think I'm gonna go on a rampage of a bunch of sweaters, just adding elastic in it to kind of tighten up the neckline a little bit. But yeah, I really like this slipover. I think it's a little bit bigger than I would have liked, but hey, it happens. That's what happens when you don't swatch. So I don't think I blocked this either because again, I didn't really want it to grow because of the broken rib. But I find the Camilla Vad lamb's wool is a little bit itchy. So usually I wear this with something underneath because I do kind of like to wearing the sweater vest style. But right now with it directly on my skin, it is a little bit itchy. But yeah, maybe I will block it and it might soften up a little bit. But I think just the shaping on this is just really beautiful. Like how it goes into the collar, and then even like the underarm shaping. I just think it looks really, really nice and professional. So yeah, I wear this quite a lot. I work in an office now, so I could try to dress a little bit more, you know, business cash, and I think this really fits the bill. Okay, yeah, my nose is pretty red. I don't know, I just got the sniffles and the sneezes all of a sudden. We're gonna power through. We're gonna get this done. So the next sweater I have is the Tulip Sweater by Melody Hoffman. I love her patterns so much. I'm a patron of hers on Patreon. So you get all of her patterns as they're released for free. Well, you're paying money anyway, but you get all of her patterns, and her podcasts are just stunningly beautiful. So I knit the Tender Shawl last year, and it's like my most worn scarf shawl for the winter. And then I knit quite a few of the Brum hats. I knit one for my brother and for his partner, and then one for me. We had a little matching hat Christmas, which was really nice. But yeah, so this is the Tulip Sweater, which is one that's quite popular of hers. I knit this in the Plötulopi held double in the color Galaxy, which is such a cool color. So it's black, but it has flecks of yellow and red and blue throughout it, and it's just so interesting. This is a very rustic yarn. I usually wear it with something underneath, and I am not right now, and it is like, I'm not like itching my skin off or anything, but it definitely tickles. And yeah, so it does have, oh, you can't really see, but it does have the scalloped edge to it, which I think is just so beautiful. Such a nice touch, and they are really quite easy to knit. It's just a bunch of decreases and some short rows to get the effect, and I love it. I think it's so cute. I wear this quite a lot. It gets pretty cold in Canada, and I find this to be really good layer to really keep you warm. Obviously it's Esthetic, which is Icelandic wool, so again, it is, you know, pretty scratchy wool, but again, you can't beat the warmth that you're gonna get from it. So I don't think I'm at gauge because I believe this pattern holds 2 strands of Newton, I think it is, with silk mohair, and I just didn't really want to buy silk mohair to go with this, so I just held it with the 2 strands unspun. This was my first time knitting with unspun, and in the beginning I found it kind of, you know, you're breaking your yarn a lot because it is so delicate, but I found after a while you just kind of get into a rhythm of it and you learn to just be really gentle. You just ripping your yarn. So yeah, but I think the gauge was definitely off. I don't know why I didn't do this, but like I didn't decrease the needle size for the collar because it is a raglan knit top down. So you just cast on with your collar stitches and you go from there. I should have done less stitches and that's my bad. And now as you can see, like it's a boat neck when it was supposed to not be a boat neck. This might be one of the sweaters that I add more elastic in, but I don't know how well that's gonna work out, but who knows. I also didn't do any decreases with the sleeves, which is an ongoing pattern for me apparently. I felt like the decreases, there were quite a lot of them, and I felt like it was just going to be really tight around the cuff, and I just thought, you know, it might be better to have a little bit less, a little bit more room so I can fit stuff underneath the sweater, again, because I do wear layers underneath it. But yeah, it gets a lot of wear. I think it does look rustic as hell. Like, I think it does look handmade, but hey, there's nothing wrong with that. So yeah. I don't think there's anything else to say about that. But yeah, I did start buying Newton, as we all seem to do. So I have some Newton in my stash to knit with, and I'm really excited to do that. That stuff is quite a lot softer than this. So yeah, I'm really excited to get going on that. Okay, next up is not a sweater, but a hat. So this is the Oslo hat. Again, freaking petite knit. I am insane, but this pattern is a very, very popular beanie style hat, and I wanted to give it a go. The yarn is the Fiber Co's Amble, and then I got that from Needles in the Hay as well, and this is the year of the Fiber Co. Thanks to Needles in the Hay, I have bought so much of their yarn. I just think they do some really incredible fibers. But then I held it with WeAreKnitters Surrey lace in the color Gates of Steel, and it just made such a beautiful color. Oh, I think the Fiber Co's Amble color was in the color Isle, I think is how you pronounce it. So it's a gray, and then again I held it with the Mohair, and it has flecks of like navy throughout it, and it's just so beautiful. And this is just the softest thing in the world, like absolute buttered kittens, as Kristen Lair from Full and Vine says. But it's such a great hat. It's really become one of my staple hats. I really love the shaping because you can see it kind of is the 4 corner, and it makes like a very round shape on your head. I don't really like those like pointier shaped ones. That's not really my jam, but such a clever construction. I think most people know that you like cast on your stitches, you knit for quite a while, then you knit knit all those stitches together. I don't think it was recommended to do a provisional cast on, but I did that and I found it very, very easy to knit all those stitches together. Yeah, and then you knit along here, and then you flip and do like short rows, and then flip it around and then knit the other way, and then yeah, it's just such a clever construction. So then you get the triple brim, which really keeps your ears warm, which I absolutely love because hasn't been super cold, but for a while it was very, very cold. And yeah, again, one of my most worn hats. I do love a gray. I love grays and browns and everything, and this is just such a great staple. I've been loving WeAreKnitters as well this year. I knit a pair of socks in their sock linen base, which I believe is 90% merino and 10% linen, and they've worn so well. And again, her variegated colors are just so beautiful, very much up my alley, those like dark kind of moodier tones. So yeah, I believe I knit this in the youth to women's size, and it fits very, very well. I think this is probably the optimal fit for wearing a beanie. So yeah, I think that's everything about that. Nice the hair. Okay, so this is the next one. So this is the lightweight raglan pullover by Purl Soho, and it is also knit in Purl Soho's linen quill. Very popular yarn on the internet, so I wanted to indulge. There was a cal going on for this sweater. I kind of participated, didn't really post a lot, but I couldn't have won anything anyway because it was based in the States and I am from Canada, so I couldn't have won anything. But I really loved knitting this sweater. It took a very long time because it's fingering weight yarn and it's a full sweater on, I think it was 3.25 millimeter needles. So I definitely would knit on this and then just kind of put it away for a while. So it did take me quite a while to work away at it, but I'm so glad that I did it because I wear this all the time. This is very much, I guess it can't be a submission for the bougie sweatshirt knit along by Casey of Young Folk Knits, but I would definitely say this is like a bougie sweatshirt. So it's the raglan, it's knit bottom up, same with the sleeves. You connect and do the raglan. It is a free pattern as well, I believe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a free pattern. So comfortable, just a very comforting knit if you just want a whole lot of stockinette, because I can let you know there is a lot of it. Also, it has like the kind of scoot hem to it. Can I get up here and show you? Yeah, so it is shorter on the sides and then longer in the center. And it also has this, it was supposed to have this cording stitch to it, and I just didn't really feel like doing it. So it's on the bottom and on the sleeve cuff and then also on the top, but I just knit some rows of garter and I thought it gave a similar effect. It also has the rolled hem to it, which I think is really cute. And the garter edge keeps it from really rolling down. But the linen quilt is just, oh, it's a dream. It's so soft, it's so lovely. It's wool, alpaca, and linen, I believe, and it's just so lovely and soft. It does have the little bits of, I don't know if you can see, little bits of linen kind of popping out of there. Those really light flecks to it are the linen, and it's so pretty. This color is denim gray. Again, another light gray blue. But yeah, I wear this all the time. Like, it's just such an excellent staple piece to just throw on with pretty much everything. I do find the yarn is pilled a lot. I don't think people will talk about that a whole lot, that the linen quilt pills quite a lot. I think a lot of people have been knitting it in shawls, and I guess it doesn't have as much friction to it. But I find like around the sleeve area, I don't know if you can tell. No, I think I de-pilled it, but I was kind of nervous to de-pill it. Actually, you might be able to see. Like, yeah, you can kind of see there's quite a lot of pilling. I guess it is a very soft yarn, so that's kind of just the nature of softer yarns. But I was a little bit nervous to use my pill shaver because it does have the little flecks of linen, and I didn't really want to take those off, so I was very sparing with my de-pilling. Yeah, is there anything else I have to say? No, I don't think so, but yeah, gets a ton of wear, and it's the lightweight raglan pullover by Purl Soho. All right, next one is a little bit of a funky one. So this is the Ghost Whisperer top by Park and Knit, and this is knit in Katia Concepts 50 Shades of Mohair. I think it's number 3. It's number 3 or number 2, I can't really remember. They're very similar colors, but it's a light gray, and this is just like such a fun just a fun little knit. So it's knit with mohair, obviously, on 6mm needles, so it's very open and gauzy. It packs actually quite a lot of warmth. I thought I was going to be able to wear this a little bit more in the summer, but it was a little bit warmer, a little bit too warm for it some days. But it does have the puff sleeves to it, which is super cute, and then it has the I-cord neck and then the I-cord on the sleeves as well, and then on the bottom it just has the stockinette. And yeah, just so much fun. I wore this quite a bit as well. It's a really good spring wear. just to throw on top of something. The yarn I used is Mohair, and it's polyamide instead of silk, and I really like this Mohair. I think it's super soft. Again, I bought it at Needles in the Hay. I don't think we have all 50 shades, but we have quite a lot of them, and I think I only used like 2 and a bit 20-gram skeins, and that was it. So this is like such an inexpensive knit, also very quick because again it's knit on 6mm needles. I do kind of wish I had picked up a few less stitches for the collar, because I think maybe if I stretch it a little bit it looks a bit better, but it's just not as tight as I would have liked, but that's okay. I might knit another one of these because I really like it, and do it in a bunch of different colors. There are a lot of them in like some really fun bright colors, but that's not really my style, so I went with the gray. I don't know if we have like a brown. There's probably a brown if there's 50 colors. Might do it in a brown, and I think that would be really nice. Or even a black. I think a black would be really pretty and kind of be a little sexy, you know? Oh, jeez. Okay, yeah. Oh, actually, this pattern's kind of weird because like you pick up at the top, so then like the end of your row is like at the top, which is kind of strange to me. But hey, I'm no knitting designer, so I don't really know what I'm saying. But yeah, so that's the Ghost Whisperer by Park and Knits. Alright, so next one is the Groningen Pullover by MJ Wilms. She's Ellis Knit on Instagram. This was also another test knit. I think I heard about the test knit through being a patron for On Air, and I love how this sweater turned out. I think it's so beautiful, just such incredible details. I love the collar. The yarn I used was not Nutridin, because I didn't have any at the time, but this is WeAreKnitters Ulysse in the color Poivre, and then I held it with what Mohair? Knitting for Olive Mohair in the color Plum Clay, and it just made such a beautiful color. The light's kind of getting a little bit dark, I do apologize for that, but it's just such a lovely kind of muted gray brown. It does kind of have a hint of pink to it. It's just so pretty, and I love this combo so much. It's so comfortable against the skin. I really want to knit some more stuff in the Ulysse. I think it's really nice yarn. The color variation too is really pretty because it just has like different flecks of color in it. This test knit was pretty low key. We didn't have like a group chat on Instagram or anything, so it was kind of just, you know, knitting at your own pace. And the collar was kind of a beast because it's double knit and on pretty small needles, and then you have to Kitchener stitch like this whole collar, which I didn't realize until, and I was like, oh fuck. So, but it turned out, honestly, I don't actually care at the end of the day because it turned out so incredibly. I've been wearing this nonstop since I finished it. The fit is really great. It's a little bit tighter than I had wanted it, but that might have something to do with like my blocking. I'm a very low-key blocker. I don't really pin things a lot. I just kind of set them out to sit, but this definitely needed some pretty aggressive blocking because it is like a rib stitch. I probably could get more room out of it, but it's still definitely has some positive ease to it. Again, quite cropped, but again, I do like how that looks. But yeah, beautiful. I've been wearing this nonstop. I think I've already started to felt the underarms a little bit because it is kind of up in my underarm area. I usually try and knit patterns that are a little bit further down to avoid that, but when you're test knitting, you know, it happens. Honestly, I can't say any more good things about this. I just think it's just so beautiful, fluffy, soft, wonderful, incredible. Yeah, I'm really trying to think of other things to say, but I'm just so happy with how this worked out. I feel like I didn't knit as many of the sweaters that I had planned this year because I kept signing up for test knits, and I kept signing up for test knits. I did 3. But yeah, I guess people are putting out some really incredible patterns these days. So yeah, I would definitely recommend checking out the Groningen pullover by MJ Wilms or Ellis Knits on Instagram. Alright, next up I have some more accessory pieces. So I did knit a lot more socks than what I'm showing you, as I said, but a lot of them are dirty. And these are the ones that are not. I do need to do laundry desperately. I went on a trip, came back, and you know when you're just holding off on doing a shit ton of laundry. But these socks, I just am so happy with how they turned out. So these are just a vanilla sock pattern. My go-to sock pattern. Actually, that's kind of changed how I knit socks. Just I used to knit it at 64 stitches and now I've been knitting at 60 stitches, and I find that gets a much tighter fit on my foot. And when you're working with superwash yarns and stuff like that, that does grow, so I find the 60 stitches a lot better on my foot. And then I do cuff down, heel flap, and gusset, and then I do the Kitchener toe. So this yarn, this was my first time working with the Retrosario Mondim yarn, which is it's recommended to be sock yarn, but it doesn't have any nylon or anything in it, and it's Portuguese wool. And then I held it with some mohair, some leftover mohair that I had for the heels and for the toes. I think I was using yarn that I had left over from, I did knit the Balaclava #1 this year, which I didn't show, I just forgot to wrap that. And some Knitting for Olive merino, which I'm kind of take it or leave it with the merino. Like, it's fine. It's just a normal merino yarn in my opinion. But that's when I started knitting with the soft silk mohair, which clearly I have been using a lot this year. So I had some of it left over from that in the color Powder. I believe I ran out of it partway through, but I did have some leftover Drops Kid Silk in a very similar color. I think it was like light beige or something. So I think one of these toes is done with a different yarn, but you can't really tell. I don't know if you can tell. Also, the lighting is like not very conducive to being able to tell those kind of things. But yeah, so these socks, these are kind of my bed socks or around the house socks, so they might be a little, I said I wasn't going to show dirty socks, but I guess these are kind of dirty. But they are the best socks for when my feet are super, super cold. So I find if I come home from work and my feet are cold, I'll throw these on and they'll warm them up so quickly, because again, they're 100% wool, and then they have the mohair. And I just love these. I bought some more of the Retrosario Mondim, and I'm really excited to work in that. I also found a hat pattern that uses the Mondim that I think is just gonna be really, really nice. And I find this wool, like, it's wool. It's definitely wool. But I wouldn't say it's scratchy. I think it would be nice to make a full sweater out of this. It is a sport weight, which I didn't realize at the time when I started knitting. So it was knit a little bit tight, so it did hurt my hands a little bit. And adding the mohair, it was a little bit tight. But I'm very, very happy with these. And I think I will definitely knit more in the future. So yeah. And then next accessory, I did knit. Who do you think this pattern is from? Let's take a guess. Is it Petite Knit? Yes. So I did knit the Sophie scarf for myself. I did knit another one for my friend as well. I knit both of them in the Fiber Co's Acadia yarn. This one is Sea Lavender, which is a really nice light gray, and then it has like flecks of blue in it. It's so beautiful. This one is the longer one, I believe. And I'm really happy with how this looks. I think it's so cute. I never thought I would be an ascot kind of person, but here we are. You know, that really proves that I never say I won't wear anything anymore, because eventually that's what I was with bucket hats. I said I'd never wear a bucket hat, and now I wear my bucket hats all the time. So you can never say that you're not going to wear something. But yeah, I really loved the construction of it. It's super simple. It's a really fast knit, and it's just super cute to wear. I knit one for my friend for Christmas. I knit the smaller version for her, and I knit it also in the Acadia, but I knit it in the color Granite. And this yarn is so nice. I think, can I remember what the composition is? I know it's merino, alpaca, and then it has silk noil in it. So any of the lighter flecks of color you can see are the silk noil, and I just think it's so nice. Watch me show you all my knits and just tell you that they're so nice. But yeah, so I think those are the accessories, and I have one more thing to show you guys. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm super excited about this one because I just cast it off yesterday. I'm gonna include it in my knits of 2022 because I knit most of it in 2022 and then just a couple days into the new year. But this is the Moby sweater by Petite Knit. Again, another friggin' Petite Knit pattern. I said I wasn't gonna knit any more of her patterns, and then she came out with this freaking incredible sweater, and I had been on the hunt for a cream colored cable knit sweater pattern for a very long time, and I just saw this one and I just knew. Sometimes you just know. So this is knit in the Fiber Co. again, in their Cumbria base in the color Blencathra, and this yarn is just glorious. It is a worsted weight yarn with, I believe it's just wool. I don't think it specifies what kind of wool it is, but it does have mohair in it. So the Moby sweater is knit with, I think it's knit with like a DK weight, and then it holds a strand of mohair. I just didn't really want to do that, and I thought since this had mohair in it, it would be perfect, and it is. It just is. I love this color. It's kind of a cream color, but it also has like kind of flecks of gray in it, and it's just so stunning, and the cable work is just incredible. I loved knitting the cross cables. I thought they were so cool. They're not actually cables, they're faux cables, and I thought it was just amazing. And I also I really liked this panel. I think that's what really drew me to it. I feel like this part is just like very unique. You don't see that in a lot of cable knit sweaters. And big chunky cable right here, and then moss stitch, and then the sleeve kind of mimics this, but it doesn't have the cross cables in it, just one long cable, and then it has the like garter stitch and twist rib. And goddamn, she got me again. Petite Knit, she got me again. There's also the double knit collar, which I'm a big fan of. And this is just a freaking perfect sweater. It's just so good. I think I knit this one a little bit longer than I normally do with sweaters, but this one I feel like it's like such a timeless piece. Like I'm gonna have this forever. Yeah, so I'm gonna have this sweater forever. So I thought knitting it a little bit longer would just give me a little bit more options if sometime in the future I don't want to wear more cropped sweaters. When I was knitting it, I was a little bit nervous that it was a bit too tight. The gauge on this was like wild. So I knit the gauge swatch, and this sweater is supposed to have a ton of positive ease. And I was knitting it and I was like, this looks teeny tiny. And when I was wearing it before I blocked it, it had negative ease on my body. And I was like, oh, I don't know about this, but I was like, I'm gonna trust in the process, because with cable stuff, you know, you do have to block it out for you to get the real effect of it. And there's definitely not a ton of positive ease. Like, I think there's a little bit, but not too bad. But I'm not unhappy about that. I think it has a very classic look, and I am just very happy with how it turned out. This yarn, I'm definitely gonna knit something else in this yarn because I'm such a fan. The Fiber Co. also has the Cumbria fingering, and I think I do love knitting me a fingering weight sweater, so I think that's gonna have to be something in the future. This is also like a drop sleeve sweater, so you, again, you know, knit the back, pick up, you do short rows in the back, and then pick up along the sleeves, connect to the center, knit, attach, knit in the round, and then pick up for the sleeves and then knit them down. But yeah, can you tell I'm freaking ecstatic about how this turned out? Like, I think this is probably one of my favorite knits to date, and I think it'll continue to be like that for years to come. So yeah, I guess that's everything that I knit this year. minus quite a few pairs of socks, some baby knits, and a few other things. But yeah, I think this is probably my most successful knitting year. I'm very impressed with some of the things I created. I think some of the stuff I made, I was like, man, you could like sell this and people would be pretty impressed. I think next year my goal really is to knit less. I did start having quite a bit of like arm and wrist pain this year, so I think I do need to slow down my knitting, which makes me very sad because knitting brings me a lot of joy. But I think I need to look towards some other crafting things. I bought some fabric and stuff to do some quilting, I think, this year, which will be really fun. I used to sew when I was younger. My mom's a really big quilter and sewer in general. So I think I'm gonna turn to that a little bit next year and really knit and really be selective about the things that I knit and knit a little bit less. But yeah, I think that's everything for me today. Thanks for sticking around if you made it all the way to the end. I don't know, I feel like the energy progressively got a little bit more and more chaotic. But anyway, that's just how it rolls. And the light definitely probably changed pretty dramatically. It was like very sunny, but the sun's kind of going behind my neighbor's house. So, but yeah, if you want to see more, there are a few other podcasting episodes, a little bit different from this. It's kind of the traditional knitting podcast setup where I just sit and I go through, you know, finished objects, whips, acquisitions if I have any. I do talk a little bit about, again, the yarn store that I work at, Needles in the Hay. I didn't work there for a little bit. I did start a full-time job, but now I am back. I work Sundays and usually from 12 to 4. So if you're in the area, pop by and I can help you pick out some yarn, which is always just the most fun. You can always see what I'm knitting on. I'm usually knitting something when I'm in the store. But yeah, thanks so much for sitting with me. And if you did a little knitting, had a little hot beverage, I'm happy to give you a little bit of moment of peace if that's what this was. I don't know if that's even what this was, but yeah, thanks so much, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.